everyone, and welcome back. Welcome to another crafty decor adventure. Olivia with Olivia's Romantic Home, and in today's video I am over the moon excited to share with you guys 15 DIY Dollar Tree fall and Halloween decor crafts. So listen, this is another episode in my huge I Love Fall series. I love to share with you guys how you can make your home's boutique gorgeous on a budget. I truly believe that y'all don't have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. Now listen, I am hosting a $100 Hobby Lobby gift card giveaway, so I want to spoil one of you guys. Check the details of this video for the description of what's going to be going on with that. And listen, I know you guys are here for the crafting and decorating. Without further ado, let's go ahead and plug in those glue guns, get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to crafty.
For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to take this puppy training pad box from my new puppy, and also I'm going to take this pumpkin patch sign from the Dollar Tree Farmers Market calendar. I'm also going to take some white spray paint and just go ahead and spray paint the entire box white. And once that is done and it's all dry, I'm going to take some Mod Podge and apply a really generous layer of Mod Podge over the entire box. I get so sloppy with my Mod Podge, you guys. I have no idea why. Now I have to give credit to Barb from the Shabby Tree. I saw her do this on her page and it was so cool. I have been wanting to do a fall Christmas tree. This is actually the first fall Christmas tree I'll ever do. So what we're going to create here with this box is a Christmas tree base, and you can use the pumpkin patch sign on one side, and then she suggested to flip it around and use the little Christmas tree calendar sign on the other side. So you're going to put a generous layer of Mod Podge down and then lay your little sign down and then put another layer down. Now I will tell you that there are going to be some wrinkles in this project, so take a deep breath. It's not the end of the world. It's still going to look super cute even if it does have a little bit of imperfections. The other thing you guys can think about, if you cannot find the Market Fresh calendar, you could just use some pretty paper from your Hobby Lobby or maybe another calendar. I actually had some striped paper laying around and I didn't have the exact same one to match this side, so I ended up using a different pattern for the other side. So just have fun with this, you guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're basically just recovering a cardboard box. I love to find ways to repurpose and reuse, and how fabulous is this? And thank you, Barb from the Shabby Tree, for giving me this amazing idea. Now I'm going to take this Christmas tree that I got at the thrift store for $5 last year, and it hadn't been pulled out of its box, so it did need a bit of fluffing, and I was really disappointed because the lights did not work, but I persevered. Comment and let me know if you guys ever get a little frustrated when you're doing crafts. So I ended up popping that into the little box here, and I'm going to share with you guys how we're going to decorate this fall Christmas tree. Again, this is my first fall Christmas tree, and I did have to retrain my thinking a little bit to decorate a fall tree. It would seem easy, but it actually wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. So I'm starting out with some Dollar Tree deco mesh, and I'm using this kind of brown color, and I'm going to end up using, I believe, 2 rolls of deco mesh on the tree. And what I'm doing is I'm just cascading the mesh down the tree and then pulling it out in kind of 8 to 10 inch kind of like little bubbly loops. Now my tree was wobbly because if you use a 12 by 12 box, you should be able to stand your tree stand down inside of it, but mine did not. So I just added some fabric around the base of it and I carried on. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that when you're doing this mesh, it doesn't have to be perfect. So you just want to kind of loop it in, and it's going to give your tree some fullness. So give yourself some grace, have fun with this, and really you can revamp any little thrift store tree. And as you guys can see by the end, once you see the end of this, we are going to cover the entire tree anyway. So I'm going to add lights later once I fill my little Dollar Tree lights with some batteries. And see, you guys can see here's the other side where the little Farm Fresh Christmas tree sign is. How adorable is that going to be for Christmas? Now I'm taking some of this burlap fabric, and I get all of my burlap from burlapfabric.com. I love these big rolls. I'm going to leave a $5 off coupon down below. It's Olivia 2020 for burlapfabric.com if you guys want to use burlap from them. Otherwise, you can find burlap at Walmart or even order some online at Hobby Lobby. So check the description box below of this video, and then I'm just going to trim it off. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cascading these giant pieces of burlap down the tree. So wherever I kind of didn't have the deco mesh, I'm just kind of weaving that in and around. And I'm not tying this on. I'm just using the Christmas tree branches and crossing them over on themselves to kind of hold this in. So that's just a little tip. If you guys feel like you need to use a floral wire or a pipe cleaner, by all means, secure it in there really well. It is going to stay up probably in my studio on this little stand, although it came out so super adorable. I'm thinking about moving it into my house. So anyway, you guys, I have just been having so much fun decorating with you guys and crafting with you guys. And I did end up adding burlap all around the entire tree. And then I did just do one little small loop here at the base just to kind of fill it out. I also like to dovetail my ends by cutting a triangle in an upwards direction. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to make a super adorable fall Christmas tree topper. So I'm taking my easy bow maker and I'm just going to add a pipe cleaner at the very base. And I got my easy bow maker off of Amazon, but you guys can find them at the craft store and use your coupon. So now I'm just going to take my ribbon, and I love the easy bow maker because it measures directly across. So it helps me have more, symmetrical bows, I guess. But I have a great bow video that I'll link in my description box for you guys. If you don't have one of these, never fear. I have a super amazing, easy one that I shared with you guys today on my Facebook, and I'll also link in the description box below of this video. So I just went about 7 to 8 inches across on my ribbon loops. Now, this ribbon from Dollar Tree with the little red trucks is so adorable, and I thought it would be perfect mixed in with the buffalo check for a really fun and fabulous fall tree. Now, this orange plaid ribbon or buffalo check ribbon I actually found at Michael's, but Dollar Tree has been putting out the cutest ribbon this season. Oh my goodness. And again, I'm just measuring it about 7 inches across, and then you shove it down into your little easy bow maker. These are 2 little prongs, and it just holds the bow, which I love. I have neuropathy in my hands, so it's such a great big helper for me. This ribbon is super adorable. I found it on Amazon, and this was the last one I decided to use. Now, hindsight 2020 with this bow, I went a little crazy with patterns and colors, but I was able to make it all work with all of the different colors that I used in my Christmas tree, and you guys will see how that all comes together at the end. So bear with me if you think this bow is a little wild. Now I'm taking my pipe cleaner and I'm just going to pipe cleaner my bow all together, twist it around, and then leave the pipe cleaners at the back of it because we are going to tie this on to the top of our Christmas tree. Now, don't forget to give your bow a good old-fashioned fluffing. That is the secret to all my bows, is I really fluff them and pull the loops out quite a bit. Now, I'm just tying this on to the very top of my Christmas tree, and then as you can see, I'm really pulling these loops out and fluffing them. I don't want any of the pretty ribbon to get lost, and I also want to make sure that it's nice and full and fluffy, and that's what's going to give your bow a boutique finish. The next thing I want to do is take this string of Dollar Tree leaf garland, and I'm just going to loop it in to some of the areas where there's no deco mesh, and I'm going to do about 3 to 4 of the Dollar Tree garlands, just kind of cascade them down your tree. You could also just use some fall leaf picks. That would work as well. Again, I do love to go really over the top with my decor, but if any point you guys feel like it's too much, you can always stop and just be pleased with your work there. But I do love that really full boutique look. I also am pushing myself to use what I have this week in my crafting stash. I have a lot of fall stuff, and so I want to pull everything out and put as much on this tree, because my idea actually is if I'm crafting and I need something off the fall tree, I'm just going to pull that off. Now I'm picking in some of those little Dollar Tree burlap leaves, and then the next thing I wanted to do was put this cute little Harvest Dollar Tree wooden plaque sign on here. And I did play around with a lot of the decor. I put this white sign on here initially. I eventually took it off. I also tried out these smaller Dollar Tree pre-made bows, and again, I did end up taking those off. Something about them, I just didn't care for them, but they probably would be cute. Once I was editing this video, I thought, oh, those actually looked pretty cute. But I'm kind of a crazy person when I'm decorating a Christmas tree, and I dance around, and I really like to go back and forth, just just to see what I absolutely love. So I wanted to make this a little bit more bold with oranges, and I believe that's why I took those off. So now I'm just taking some Dollar Tree picks and I'm adding them to the top of the tree. I'm basically just shoving them into the top. Normally when I do a really big tree, this tree was actually only like a 4-foot tree, I believe. But normally when I do a really big tree, I will take wire and I will wire around the top of that, but they seem to stay really well. The next thing I wanted to do was just add in some little pumpkin picks and some additional ribbon with the little pumpkins on it to pull that into the bow tree topper. And here is the finished project, the finished fall Christmas tree, my first time ever taking the plunge. I added in some more little fun like Dollar Tree sunflowers and some of these little Dollar Tree wooden cutouts that I had decoupage some Mackenzie Childs inspired paper onto. We did that in another DIY. You guys go check out my huge I Love Fall playlist. I'm going to link it for you in the description box below because we have done so many fun and fabulous DIYs. Here is like a cascading version down, and I am going to share with you guys how to do these little decoupage Mackenzie Childs inspired napkin pumpkins. Oh my goodness. I think I will do a fall tree from here on out. This was so fun. The only drawback, of course, is that it doesn't light up, but again, I am going to add some pretty lights into it. Maybe even I'll splurge and order some of those fairy lights that are really pretty and twinkling off of Amazon. Thank you, Barb, for encouraging me to put up a tree. Okay, I have to know if you guys are going to put up a tree. So comment down below if you're going to go crazy, pull out a little mini tree and just have fun with it. If you guys have been crafting along with me, you may have a little bit of stuff in your craft stash. Another thing that I think is going to be fun is I think I'm going to do like a Halloween tree, a not so spooky Halloween tree. You guys know I love to do like little happy things for Halloween, just little funsy things. So, but I am crushing on this Harvest Beautiful Bounty tree. I think that's a great name for it. What do you guys think about that? Comment and let me know what you think and if you'll be doing one of these. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to take one of these Boo witch hat wreaths and I want to share with you guys how to do a burlap Scarecrow wreath. So I'm going to remove all of the tinsel off of this Boo hat wreath, and then I am going to take some of this burlap. Again, I get all of my burlap from burlapfabric.com. Use the $5 off coupon Olivia 2020 if you guys want to. Otherwise, you can grab some at Walmart or any of your local craft stores. I'm going to use a pipe cleaner my burlap to the top and then just twist it around my little hat. I also cut off the little prongs that were on either side of my witch hat, and that way they weren't troublesome on there or sticking out. It's really maybe not necessary, but I think it just gives a little bit of a cleaner look. So once I get to the bottom of my little Scarecrow hat, I am going to take another pipe cleaner and just pipe cleaner that on to the edge of the Scarecrow hat. This is super easy, and again, you guys can customize this to suit whatever decor you're working with. Now I'm going to take some of these pipe cleaners and just cut them in half. For this project, you don't really need full-size pipe cleaners, so that will save you on some of your pipe cleaners. I'm also going to make 8-inch cuts of my burlap. So I'm just taking my burlap and making 8-inch cuts. And what I want to do is I want to create just kind of a little burlap poof ruffle. I experimented with this. At first, I thought I was going to do 3 pieces of burlap, but I ended up just doing 2 per bundle. So the other thing I want to use is this beautiful fall. It's kind of like a tulle. And this is from Dollar Tree, but it has the most beautiful pattern on it. And I've been racking my brain on how I wanted to use this. So the first try on this bundle, I did just 2 pieces of burlap, and then I did 2 of the beautiful lace tulle. Now make these however you want, but this seemed to be really nice. It gave me a really full wreath. And I am going to use a pipe cleaner, and I'm going to pinch my little center point together here. And then I'm just going to pipe cleaner this together. And that's going to give you your first bundle. Now I have shared with you guys how to do a deco mesh Scarecrow wreath, but I wanted to do something even just a little bit more different by using the burlap. And I felt like the leaves were really elegant. It almost gave me the feel of being less of like a Scarecrow wreath and more of a Thanksgiving pumpkin hat wreath. I also had some of you all ask if you guys could make this into a cornucopia, and by all means you definitely could. We may even do one of these. So now I'm just going to take my pipe cleaner and twist it on the very end of the hat. So for the smaller prongs on the hat, you're going to do about 2 to 3 bundles, and then you'll see there's some larger sections. You're going to want to do about 4 to 5 depending on how full you want it to look. The other thing I do is I alternate, and I do 2 on the top and then I do 2 in the center length. So I hope that gives you guys an idea of how to do your ruffles and your prongs. And now you guys can just see me kind of working where I'm beginning to make up my bundles. So that's the other thing, is I usually like to make up my bundles and try them out on my wreath. This might be something you guys want to do, and then once you see that it looks good and that bundle is going to work well, you can go ahead and pre-cut more bundles and get started having fun. You might want to put a fun show on, or even, you know, your favorite music, because the cutting of the bundles is a little bit tedious, but once you get them all ready to roll, you can just go for it. So have fun with it, take a deep breath, and make something gorgeous. Now for the next part of this DIY, I'm going to take some really beautiful Dollar Tree ribbon, and I want to make a really over-the-top bow. You guys know me, I love big bows, and I cannot lie. So I have my Scarecrow burlap kind of hat wreath all ready to roll over there on one side, and then I'm just going to take a pipe cleaner and my easy bow maker. I got this off of Amazon, but you can also find it at Michael's craft store. Use your 40% coupon, and trust me, you're going to get a better deal than I did off Amazon, but whatever floats your boat. Now, you know, once you learn more, you can do better. I didn't know that, and I bought this during the whole lockdown, and so I couldn't go anywhere anyway, and I wanted to try out this bow maker, and I've been hooked ever since. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to make about 7 to 8 inches on either side of my bow, and the bow maker has this little center thing that you just push your ribbon down into. It's so fabulous, and you don't even have to think about it, and it holds it right there together, which I love because I do have neuropathy in my fingers, or in my hands, and so it just helps me hold things better. And it also, I love that it has like the little measurements on either side. That's another good thing, because I have a tendency to kind of lose track on my bows. But I do have a bow video for you guys that shows like how to make an easy bow without a bow maker. So that's a really great one too. Whatever you guys are loving, you guys know recently I've been crushing on this one. So now I'm just going to add in some of this Dollar Tree orange ribbon. This was so pretty and sparkling, and I started out with a Dollar Tree fall leaf ribbon. Again, I want this to be really classy and elegant, so I'm really working towards doing something kind of more that you could use towards, you know, fall and Thanksgiving if you really love that harvest look. A lot of people have asked for some traditional stuff. I feel like this is like very traditional fall. Once I have that done, I'm going to use this Fall Blessings, and it says Harvest on this ribbon. This is also Dollar Tree. And again, I just go back and forth with my ribbon. It's about 7 inches on either side, and then you just pull the loop down. So you start out, you pull the loop down, and then you can cut upwards. Be careful of your little fingers, and make that little triangle, and that's going to give you a really nice boutique finish on your bow. And just choose whatever ribbon makes you happy and whatever makes you smile, and it's going to go with your project. I wanted to add in some more of this orange because I felt like it would bring in those pretty leaves that are on the Dollar Tree tool. I just wanted it to really just be gorgeous. And so I'm using some of this really sparkling Dollar Tree ribbon, and I actually think this ribbon that's orange, I'm wondering if it may have been supposed to be for Halloween, because it almost looks like it has like a glittery sheen to it. The next ribbon I thought I was going to use was this Dollar Tree chevron ribbon, but I ended up just using some of the Dollar Tree polka dot ribbon. So this is just ribbon that they carry year round, and I'm just popping this in, and then I'm going to go back and forth making my loops, making it fabulous. And I think the polka dot was what I needed to bring in some whimsy, because even though I wanted to make it really elegant, I also wanted to make it pretty and whimsical. I attached the bow with the pipe cleaner onto my cute little wreath, and then I decided to take some of the extra ribbon and just make like kind of like a little scrunched up bow at the top. So I'm using some of the extra leftover ribbon. Keep that in mind. If you're doing one of these hats, you may want to save a little bit of extra ribbon just to make a doodly dad at the top, or this kind of like little funky bow here. And then you can add more goodies. I believe I ended up adding like a little pumpkin and some other fun treasures to the top just to top it off. And again, you guys can see the link down below to see more of these Scarecrow hats and witches hats that I have done. Just different ideas. I just thought this would be so fun to share with you guys. I did make this for my studio, and the other one I made that had the little Scarecrow on it, I made for my front door. And then I think I'll probably start making them for friends and family. A lot of you all ask what I do with my crafts. I have an attic and just a regular craft closet that I store things in. I also give away things to my friends and family just to kind of treat them. And then also don't forget to give your bow a really good fluffing. Here is how it looks in the corner of my studio. And when I say studio, this is still in my home. It's just a little corner of my garage that I actually painted and set up to give me the feeling of like having a real craft room. But really it's just a corner of my garage with some pretty curtains and a painted floor. So here's how it looks next to my darling little tree. Oh my goodness. Again, you guys, I'm just so crushing on this fall Christmas tree. Definitely going to be doing another one of these. I'm even strategizing now, how can I put this in my dining room and then do a big tree out in my studio? Oh my goodness, so fun and fabulous. And we did this all with Dollar Tree supplies and a little thrift store Christmas tree. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take these carvable Dollar Tree pumpkins and I'm going to remove the top, and what we're going to do is create a beautiful decoupage pumpkin. So I painted them white with just some basic chalk paint and I let that dry. The next step is to find a napkin and remove the white backing from your napkin, and then you can plan on using some Mod Podge or glue to attach it to your pumpkin. You could also even use a spray adhesive. I like Mod Podge, but use whatever suits your fancy and whatever you guys have in your stash. So I'm just taking a generous helping of Mod Podge and I'm going to run that all the way around my pumpkin. Once I had all the Mod Podge, I then began to apply the napkin, and I am going to tell you guys that doing a pumpkin, I definitely had some little wrinkles in it, but just trim it off, take a deep breath, add Mod Podge to the base, and then add it over the top. The other thing I recommend with this is to let your layers dry as you go. For this DIY, I was trying to work quickly so I could have it to share with you guys on this video, but it would have been lovely if I would have just done one section at a time and then patiently let it dry and then did another section, because my fingers had a tendency to kind of lift off some of the napkin on the other side. So just a little note, if you're doing this at home and you have the time to wait and let it dry, I also suggest to just use sections of the napkin. That seemed to work better. I tried one using the whole napkin, so hopefully you guys can learn from some of my trial and error, and you can tell I get pretty sloppy with my Mod Podge, but again, just have fun with it. This is just a fun little pumpkin. The other thing I did was I used some of the Dollar Tree wood pieces to make a little stem with, and I'm also thinking about maybe even painting those or adding a fun little jewel. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take some of these Dollar Tree wooden dowels and then just some of these cute little Dollar Tree gourds and pumpkins, and I'm going to take my scissors and poke a hole in the bottom of them, add some hot glue, and then push the dowel into it. This was the best way that I found to create a pumpkin pick for inexpensive, and I already had these dowels on hand. Dollar Tree is selling wooden dowels in their crafters square section, and then you can very easily pop these into your tree and they seem to stay. I tried to kind of just put them in earlier and they tend to roll off, but with these longer dowels they set perfectly into this 4-foot tree, and so that was a great solution for that. So that's just a little tip when you're adding some of these larger pumpkins. If you are doing a fall tree, I feel like you could also use shish kebab sticks. I didn't have those on hand, but I felt like those would have been a really great option, and probably you would even get more in a shish kebab stick. I believe they sell those at Dollar Tree too. So just keep that in mind if you're doing like a larger tree. This was only a 4-foot tree, so I may have to pick some of those up if I do a larger tree. So, oh my goodness, as always, I ask that you guys comment and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video. I so love to hear what your feedback is. It really helps me know what DIYs to plan for you all in the future. I just love to share with you guys how you can have a gorgeous home on a budget. And just because you maybe can't spend a ton of money doesn't mean you can't have boutique, beautiful decor. And when you craft, it is so good for your heart and soul, and it just makes things so lovely. And I just thank you all for being here. I love you all so, so much, and you're such a blessing to me. This little community is just amazing. So thank you guys again, and I will talk to you very soon. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to make a super adorable deco mesh witch hat wreath. Okay, so from the Dollar Tree, I have this witch hat wreath form, and I'm just going to take this striped ribbon. I actually have it left over from last year's Halloween crafting, and it is from Michael's. And I'm just going to hot glue the top part of the ribbon, and then I'm going to gently begin to wind it around the top of the hat and just kind of loop it over. Now, I wanted it to go in kind of a spiral where the stripes were staggering down, so I did glue each side. So I glued the right side and then the left side, and then kind of twisted and turned the ribbon as I went along. And really, you guys could use deco mesh for this part. I didn't have enough deco mesh, and in fact, I didn't have enough of the striped ribbon, but I'm going to share with you guys how I'm going to fix that. This is a little bit of a longer hat than the smaller Dollar Tree hat, which you guys can use as well. Now I'm going to take my deco mesh, and I used 4 rolls of the Dollar Tree black deco mesh, and I'm cutting it in 12-inch strips. What I want to do is create bundles, and so I'm just going to take the deco mesh, I'm going to roll it and make it into like a little curly Q, or just pretend like you're rolling it into a burrito, and then you're going to pinch it in between your fingers, and you want probably about 3 bundles, and each bundle is about 12 inches long, but you guys don't have to get really crazy with measuring. You can always trim it back with your scissors if you need to. I'm then going to take this little zip tie, and I'm going to zip tie it to the end of my witch hat wreath, and that's just kind of the first poof. Now you're going to want to probably go ahead and pre-cut your deco mesh. I don't do a lot of deco mesh wreaths. I know if you really love to work with deco mesh, it's nice to have one of those little roller tools. And a lot of you will ask about my cutting mat, and that is from Walmart. So I'm just going to share with you guys how I went ahead and began to put this wreath together. So I was thinking about just filling this top part in with more of the mesh. So I'm going to kind of start up here at the hat, where, you know, I can just kind of loop it down into the rest of it. And again, these are just 3 bundles bundled together, and you just use your little zip tie and zip tie it on there. And I just kind of eyeballed it to see, when it looked full, really. It was probably about 4 to 5 bundles per section. But again, just kind of eyeball it. And I used to really squish a lot of my mesh together and get it really super full. You do want it to be full, but it's not necessarily, you don't have to have it completely stacked in there, especially if you're going to do the technique like I'm going to do and add a bunch of bows. That's just a little hint from me to you. It'll save some of your mesh too. Okay, now let's make a cute little Dollar Tree bow. I'm going to use my Easy Bow Maker for this, and I'm going to do a 6-inch on either side, so a 12-inch total loop. Or you guys can also use my Olivia bow method. I've shared that with you guys many times, and I'll link that video in my description box below. It's Christmas bows, but it's kind of the same format. So now I'm going to take this other cute Dollar Tree ribbon, and Dollar Tree has really cute Halloween ribbon as well as any of the craft stores too. And again, I'm just going to make a 6-inch bow on either side, and then I'm just going to trim that off. Now make sure when you're trimming the ends of your bows that you dovetail those ends, either cut them in a side slit or cut them in that little triangle. Now I'm also going to add in this really pretty Mackenzie Childs ribbon. I got this on their sale last year, and I have some left over from last year's crafting actually. And again, I'm just going to make a little bit smaller than a 6-inch bow here. You could also stagger it down a little bit, but for this one, I want all the bows to really fill the wreath out. So that's why I left them a little bit larger. Now I'm just going to take a zip tie and zip tie my bow together first. And you guys can also use pipe cleaners on any of the places that I'm showing you guys zip ties. Recently, I've been using zip ties because I have like a bunch of them to use up. So I really do try to use what I have on hand. That way I don't get too backlogged with the amount of craft supplies I have. Now I'm going to kind of bury down deep into my mesh and find one of the ends of the wire wreath form and just zip tie my bow to that. Trim off the end of your zip tie, and then you want to fluffy duffy out your bow. And that's kind of the secret to really any bow making, is really kind of keep fluffing it and working with it with your hands. So I'll kind of fluff my bow after I make it, and then fluff it again once it's on whatever arrangement that I'm doing. Now I'm going to add another bow to the center of my witch hat, and then another bow to the edge, to the other side of my witch hat. Now this is kind of super extra, and you guys don't necessarily have to go so over the top with your bows if you don't want to. You could just do one and then, add some cute little goodies inside. But if you do want to just make it like really full and fun, you can do this method as well. So it's just kind of how you like to do it and what suits your fancy. So again, I'm just going to finish zip tying this bow to the end of here, and then you can add in some bits and bobs. And for this wreath, I did want to also add a topper to the top. I think that's a fun way to kind of finish it out. And Dollar Tree is also carrying these really cute little mini signs, and I chose the witch one. It says the witch is in. I think that's so adorable and perfect for a cute little Halloween. And so I just zip tied that to the side of my wreath. And now I'm going to make a quick little easy bow. I kind of like call this my tuxedo bow, I guess. You just take the ribbon and loop it over on itself. And I'm using all 3 ribbons that I use in my the bottom part of my witch hat, and that way it's all kind of cohesive. So again, just zip tie everything together, and then you can zip tie that to the end of your wreath. And I also do have some pre-made bows at Dollar Tree selling that are Halloween and sparkly. Those are going to be really fun to add, as well as some cute little Dollar Tree ornaments. The next thing I also want to do is add in those glittering, sparkling ornaments. So Dollar Tree carries these little cute little Halloween Christmas ornaments. I really love the purple ones. The other ones in there are like some really funny little eyeballs. I didn't end up using those, and I don't usually use things with kind of eyeballs in them. But the other thing I'm adding in here too are some beautiful little glittering orange pumpkins, and you can't really see where I'm putting them at. You can see it when it's hanging more. There it is. And then I also added some glittering orange pumpkins to the top of this just to finish it off and make it super duper extra. Okay, check it out. Here it is. I hung it from this little ladder that's in the corner of my living room, and then the ladder is from Hobby Lobby, as well as a cute little Rae-Dunn blanket that says blessed. I think I really love to do a not so spooky Halloween. I really don't like, the spooky gory stuff, which I know some people do, and that's fine. I think whatever suits your fancy, but for me, I kind of like it to look more cutesy and fun and just more whimsical. So here is how this turned out. Now I still have the rest of my house decorated for fall right now, so I'll transition some of that over more once it gets closer to Halloween. I'll probably do more Halloween goodies on my mantle and pop some different, Halloween goodies here and around. And I'm going to share with you guys the rest of these DIYs. Oh my goodness, those little lantern legs came out so fun and fabulous on a total budget. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make some super adorable Dollar Tree witch legs, and we're going to make them into kind of like a lantern topper, but you could easily use them kind of as a wreath piece. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to cut those Dollar Tree witch legs apart, and they're kind of like a nylon-y. You want to take and you want to pull that nylon all the way down to the bottom of your witch leg. So you kind of fold the fabric back, almost like you were putting on pantyhose. I don't know if you guys remember pantyhose from the 90s, but those were a thing back in my day. But you're just going to gently take some stuffing and you're going to stuff your little legs. And I like to kind of get mine a little bit overstuffed, that way they're nice and poofy. And then you just continue to kind of run that up there. You can take a shish kebab and kind of poke that down in there. And then once you get to the top, you can take the top and you just kind of fold both ends inward, and then you can take your hot glue gun and pinch those together and hot glue your little witch legs together. So this is such a super fun, easy craft, and there's so many ways that you guys can use these. I've done these before in the past and actually hung them on my witch hat wreath, so that's an idea for you. For this one though, I'm going to share with you guys how I'm going to make them into like a giant lantern topper, which is kind of weird, but it came out, actually I felt like it was really cute. So it's kind of like the witch like landed on top of your lantern. And again, I'm going to repeat the same process with this other witch leg. So once we have both of our little witch legs stuffed, we're going to just take this little lint brush and lint them off. So you can always use some tape, but those little felt boots kind of seem to get kind of a little linty. The next thing I did was cut some little holes in the top of my witch legs, and I just did that with some scissors. Be careful though if you're doing this. Maybe not the best demonstration here on that, but I'm taking a zip tie and running it through the top part of these, and that's going to kind of create my little hanging witch legs. Now you guys can add these into a wreath so easily. You can pop them into a little floral display. I put these underneath, my mantle before, like it looks like the mantle dropped onto, the witch legs, like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. There's so many options, but I'm going to use this and make a cute little lantern bow. So I'm going to take this ribbon and loop it over on itself. And this is just some inexpensive $1 Dollar Tree ribbon. And once I looped it over on itself 3 times, I'm just going to pinch it in the center, and that's where you can then tie it off. Now I did want to add one more layer to this, and I'm going to use the leftover ribbon from the little witch hat that we made earlier. And again, I'm just going to take the ribbon, loop it over on itself, lay it down on top of that ribbon, pinch that together, and then just take a zip tie and kind of zip tie that together. And so then there you guys have a really cute little fluffy bow. You guys could really pretty much use any type of fabric or any type of bow pattern that you wanted to for this. And Dollar Tree does have different colors of their witch legs. They have orange and green and purple. And the next thing I'm doing is just taking a scrap piece of that ribbon and tying that onto the top part of my witch leg. So we're going to cover up those zip ties because we don't want to see those. The next thing I did was just take some hot glue and hot glue some of these ornaments to the top of it. And that way I can kind of, just make it look cute and puffy. And I kind of wanted to do like the different candy cane colors or candy corn colors. And then I popped it on top of my lantern. So it looked like my witch landed on top of my lantern. And then I just did this eat, drink, and be scary next to it. I thought that was so adorable. And again, so many ideas for this one. You guys are going to have to post this in my group page. If you're part of my Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook group page, I would love to see how you guys interpret the Dollar Tree witch legs. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take one of these cute little Dollar Tree Halloween trees, and yes, these are a really good sized tree that Dollar Tree has put out, and they come in black, green, and orange, I believe, or black, green, and purple are the ones that I found. But I'm taking some little Dollar Tree mini ornaments, and what I did was just pop off the little top part of the ornament, and that way you don't see that like gold part, and then you can just add some hot glue and hot glue those into your little tree. And again, I wanted to do kind of like candy corn colors here, or just Halloweeny colors. I thought this was super cute, and these are fun to add into like a little smaller display, so you could pop them into like an entryway table or whatnot. I'm sure you guys how we're going to use this, but just keep gluing in some of those little smaller pieces. Also, Dollar Tree puts out like the little glitter base fillers is what they call them, and those fit perfectly. They're actually fit better, I think, than the orange ornaments. Were a little bit big, but I had some base filler left over from Easter, but they should have some fall colored ones too. So you could also use pom-poms on this, or even little beads. So have fun with it, get creative, and go for it. Next thing I wanted to do was take one of these little Dollar Tree picture frames, and I just took the little insert part out, and then I'm using some of this Mackenzie Childs inspired paper from Hobby Lobby, but you all could get any Halloween flavored paper that you love. It's usually between 25 cents and $1, and you can always catch it on a 40% off sale at some point in time. So I'm just going to pop my little thing back in and then hot glue this little piece of paper. This is going to be kind of like the backdrop for where I'm going to put my little tree, and then I'm going to add in some cute little hay bales. Dollar Tree put out the cutest, oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're like little mini hay bales, so I'm making like a little miniature arrangement kind of thing here. When I was a little girl, I collected miniature ornaments, and so anyway, I'm adding a big purple pumpkin and then 2 little orange pumpkins, and then there you guys have that cute little setup. And I'm just gonna pop this into a little space in my living room, or again, you guys can put this like in a little entryway table or in your kiddos room, and it would just be a fun little project to do with them, to be feeling festive and so ready for Halloween. And here's my Halloween Bath and Body Works candle. It smells so delicious. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys a fun and easy little way that you guys can take the Happy Halloween sign from Dollar Tree. Now, this was actually from last season. I'm not sure if they put one of these out this year, but really any of the Dollar Tree signs, all you have to do is take a Dollar Tree frame, and this one's left over from some summer crafting, and you just can hot glue it to the frame, and that way your little sign will stand up. Or you guys can grab a frame from the thrift store, or just a frame that's in your junk drawer or that you're not using. And so you just hot glue that sign to the front part of the frame, and that gives it a fun little back. And it also, if you color coordinate it with, like when you see it from the side, because it's this black and gold, it's going to be kind of, you know, those Halloween colors. But this one's like ridiculously easy, but I thought it would still be fun to share, because I know I get a lot of Dollar Tree signs, and sometimes I just want them to kind of stand up. You guys could also look for the little plate hangers. Those usually kind of have little stands on them as well. And then I'm adding some little bling jewels to the top part of this cute little sign, because Dollar Tree always puts little holes at the top of all of their signs, and so I thought this would be really cute with the little bling jewels. And I actually have a black cat named Tinky, and so she's so funny. Her and Pingy Bear are really starting to get along really well. Okay, so I'm popping this on top of this little kind of faux tray. I added in some little ceramic pumpkins and some little mini pumpkins, and there's our little Halloween candle. And hey, this little space right here is so ready to roll for Halloween. I think that's so fun and fabulous on a total budget. Now, as always, I ask that you guys comment down below and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video. And also comment down below and let me know if you do any Halloween crafts. Do you decorate for Halloween? Do you not care for Halloween? or do you just do fall? So let me know, drop a comment down below. I am doing a $100 Hobby Lobby gift card, and you guys definitely don't want to miss out on that. Links in the description box. So I have to share with you guys something super funny. Benji Bear got a little treat today because he was being such a good boy and also a naughty boy, but mostly good. And so he's so funny. He likes to lay and kind of hold his treat in his mouth. You guys have to let me know if your puppy dogs do this. And he wants me to like kind of pretend to get it from him, but then not. So he'll just like hold it in his mouth, and it's really, really funny. But say hi to Benji Bear for all of those Benji Bear fans. He's really not mad, just play with his bone. I'm just taking a roll of Dollar Tree 21-inch mesh, and I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and pipe cleaner it to the top of this witch hat wreath form. Again, one of my wonderful subscribers, April, sent this to me. Thank you so much. I've never found one of these before, so it was such a delight to find one and use one. And this actually is really, really simple. You just take the mesh and you wrap it around the entire wreath form. Now you do want to pull it somewhat tight as you go and wrap it on top of itself. So you kind of wrap it and make sure that you're covering the entire wire part. You can also do these wreaths with the smaller little witch hat that they sell at Dollar Tree. You just remove the tinsel and you apply this same method. Now I'm going to wrap this entire thing all the way down to the base with the black mesh, and it did take almost an entire roll of that large mesh. Once I have that finished, I am going to take a pipe cleaner and just tie it off and then twist it on here really good, and then I'm just going to cut that piece off. Now I'm going to take a fresh roll of the Dollar Tree Deco mesh, and again this is 21-inch mesh, and you guys can also find this at the craft store. You can't find this at Dollar Tree. I'm also taking some pipe cleaners, and I'm just going to pipe cleaner several pipe cleaners to the top part of the wreath form and also the bottom. And you can see I'm kind of staggering them so they're not directly on top of each other. The way that we're going to do this wreath is, I believe it's called the Poof-method, which I've actually never tried the Poof-method before. At least I haven't in a really long time. If I have, I do not remember. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to pull out about 6 inches on either side of a poof. So about 10 to 12 inches per poof. I hope that makes sense. But you can see they're making these poofs. So you're going to pull out about 10 to 12 inches in length on the mesh and then push it together and poof it. And then you're going to take and pipe cleaner that on. And it's going to look like these aren't very poofy, but what you'll want to do once you're finished is pull those loops out, and that's going to make it a lot poofier. So I'm just going to continue to pull my mesh out, gather it, and then pipe cleaner it on. So I'm going to do that on the bottom, and then I'm going to move to the top and then back to the bottom and back to the top. So you want to stagger it, the poofs. You want one on the bottom, then you want the next one on the top, then you want the next one on the bottom, and then you want the next one on the top. So I hope that makes sense. And I did end up using just one roll of the 21-inch Dollar Tree mesh. So I was super excited to find this mesh. But again, if you guys can't find it, no big deal. Walmart selling mesh, all the craft stores. You can even go on Hobby Lobby online. You could also order from Amazon online. So trust me, you can find mesh, I promise. But go ahead and take the pipe cleaners and continue to add your poofs until you get all the way down to the other end of the wreath form. And again, it is going to look kind of poofy and messy, but you can play with your poofs once you get done. You just do want to try to make sure that they're about the same size. And I could have measured these, but I decided just to eyeball them. And I think it was working just fine. And then once I got to the very end, again, just pipe cleaner at the end and trim that last piece off. Now for the next DIY, I'm going to use my Easy Bow Maker, and I'm going to pop a pipe cleaner down into the Easy Bow Maker, and then I'm going to start out with this pretty Harlequin ribbon. Now I did find this ribbon actually on Amazon, and it came in a big roll. I believe it was 25 foot, so that was quite a good deal. The ribbon was not the best of quality, but it works for this type of project. Now the rest of the ribbon I'm going to use is Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm telling you guys, they come out with the cutest Halloween Halloween ribbon. So definitely, if you pop into your local Dollar Tree, grab some, or again, you guys can find ribbon online fairly easily. I am dovetailing my ends. Oh, and the other part, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention, is you need to make this about 7 inches on either side if you're using your Easy Bow Maker. Now, if you don't have one of these, no big deal. I have a huge bow video I'll link down for you guys below. You can use the Olivia bow method. You do just want to make sure that you make super huge loops because this type of wreath will swallow a bow. So because I made my poofs about 6 inches long, I want to make my ribbons about 7 inches on either side of the bow. So I hope that makes sense. It is a very, very large bow. I'm adding several different Dollar Tree ribbons, and I just kept all of the ribbons the same size pretty much on this one. I used that cute little skull ribbon with the happy pumpkins, and then some more Harlequin ribbon, and just dovetailing my ends. And then I also used some of that orange and white Halloween ribbon. Now once I have it all the way done, I'm just going to pull it off and take a pipe cleaner and twist it together, or you can just find a pipe cleaner that's down on your wreath and twist it on that way. Now I did do that, but I felt like my bow was a little bit floppy, so I suggest to pipe cleaner your bow together and then you can twist it into your wreath. I'm going to make 4 of these bows, and I know that seems obnoxious and very bow-licious, but you guys know me, I love to go super over the top. So here is the second bow, and I'm pretty sure it's just as big as the first bow, but you guys know me, I love to do a super over the top wreath. And this wreath, because of all of the bows, I feel like it came out looking really high end, like something you would buy in a specialty boutique or an Etsy shop for definitely, you know, quite a bit more than what you used to make it with. So you just need several rows of ribbon. I suggest 2 rolls of ribbon for all of the bows. And then once I had all of my bows put on there, I decided to use these cute little witch legs, and then one of those little Dollar Tree witch hats, and then some of those little Dollar Tree ornaments, and I just hot glued those in. And then I had the remnant of this sign. This is a 3-piece sign from Dollar Tree, and I'm just hot gluing a pipe cleaner to the back, and then I usually just take a piece of scrap ribbon and put that over it, and then use the pipe cleaner to add that on to my little witch hat wreath. And oh my goodness, you guys, how stinking cute did this turn out? The witch is in. I think that's so adorable. Now, of course, it's a good witch, you guys. I promise I do cute and fun Halloween decor, but check this out with all these bows. Oh my goodness. So make sure you fluff up your bows. I also did add a cute little bow to the top and some more of those ornaments. So comment and let me know what you guys think about this. I went really crazy and it got bam, for sure big. You guys could always do this a little bit smaller or customize it and do a scarecrow wreath or whatever suits your fancy, but I thought this would be so fun and fabulous. First Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take 4 of these wooden Dollar Tree signs. They have a little pumpkin cutout and they're in the regular fall seasonal decor section. I'm going to take another Dollar Tree sign, and this is a little bit smaller one, and I'm just going to hot glue that to the back of these 4 signs. So what I want to do is make a large pumpkin sign. I'm also using these popsicle sticks to reinforce the little center boards there so they don't weeble wobble around, and bam, now we have a large wooden sign. You guys, I'm so crushing on Dollar Tree for putting these large wooden sign pieces out. The next thing I'm going to do is take this Dollar Tree felt pumpkin cutout and a couple of little pieces of Scotch tape, and I Scotch taped the felt pumpkin to the board part. That way it doesn't wiggle around as much. And then I'm also putting paper towels down around the whole project so I don't get wood stain, or this is actually like an antique wax on my little table here. I also put on gloves because that wax is really messy. Now I'm taking a Dollar Tree sponge brush. This is the larger sponge brush, and I'm adding the Waverly antique wax to the sponge brush, and I'm just gently sponging it onto the wood. I was able to get larger spots with larger bits of the wax or the antique stain on there, but I did have to really kind of push that wax into these smaller parts. So I put a little bit of wax into the lid, and that way I could get it on the tips of my sponge brush. That's just a little tip if you guys are doing this project. And so I'm really excited for this one because I think it's going to look really cool and rustic, and I have the perfect space to put this in. This is a great idea too if you guys just have a piece of wood that's like a scrap piece of wood. I didn't happen to have one. Now look how magical that is. I honestly, it doesn't take much. I just love these reveals. I love doing little mats like this, but look how amazing that pumpkin came out. Now, Dollar Tree also carries furniture polish markers in their kind of hardware section. So I'm taking one of those markers and I'm just going in and along the outlines of the actual pumpkin to kind of bring a little bit more dimension to it. If you wanted to, you could also bust out, you know, some brown paint or some different colored paint. The other thing I wanted to do was to cover up the little holes in the top that the sign had in it that Dollar Tree put in originally to hang. And I'm just using a piece of the Dollar Tree burlap kind of jute rope, or just like a burlap ribbon, and I hot glue that to the top of it. And then here is how my little wooden pumpkin sign turned out, and I'll share with you guys a little bit later in this video how to do the bead rope garland that I added to the top, which I felt like was the perfect touch. And I just used some beads from Amazon and then some yarn from the Dollar Tree. Our Dollar Tree has been putting out yarn recently in the Crafters Square section, so I have been just kind of stocking up on that. But I think this looks so fun and fabulous on a total budget, especially if you want to add a little bit of rustic decor. You could also string some lights in and around the top of it. That would be a fun idea as well. For this next DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make some really cute little Dollar Tree wooden signs. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the little acorn and the fall leaf, and I want to take the Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm just going to use that and rub that over the entire wooden surface. And you guys could really use pretty much any stain or paint that you wanted to color these. I just wanted to give them kind of a subtle coating, kind of make them a little bit rustic. And then of course we are going to add just a touch of glitter and bow to this. So I'm using this little shop cloth to kind of apply the wax to the surface. You guys can also use little Dollar Tree automotive sponge brushes. And usually I don't do the back of my surfaces. It's kind of to a fault a little bit that I don't, but I did decide to do the back of the surfaces on these just to get them nice and covered, and in case I'm planning to set them in front of some mirrors. And so I thought that might be nice to have them be able to reflect back and not have like a weird wonky backside, which is usually like a lot of my projects kind of do, especially if I don't feel like they're going to be scented in front of a mirror. But I just thought this would be kind of a nice idea. And so just continue to rub the wax on really well. And then if you want to, you can take some sandpaper and kind of give it a little bit of a sand off, or continue to rub in a little bit more wax, or just however dark you really want your project to be is kind of how much you want to apply and then how much you want to sand off. So originally I had just kind of wanted to do these really rustic and plain. I just don't really decorate like that. I have a lot more glitter and bows that I use. But they're really cute like this, honestly. You could totally leave them like this and just hang them or set them pretty much anywhere, especially if you like a lot more subtle decor. I thought also it would be nice to go back in and give it just a little bit more dimension by adding in some more stain, and this time I'm using a sponge brush. So this is just an idea for you guys if you want to give it kind of that more real wood look, I guess is what you could say, like a real kind of rustic look. Now of course I got a little crazy with mine. I ended up adding Mod Podge because I was like, they're just not sparkly enough. If you guys have been around my channel for a while, you know I like to use a lot of glitter and bows. I'm a 90s girl. I just love it. I like sparkly things. If you don't care for sparkle, don't use it. It's totally up to you. It's your choice. These are my crafts, and you guys can use sparkle on yours as much as you want or as little as you want. So these are just ideas as well. So anyway, I'm giving my little project here a nice coating, and then I'm using some of this iridescent green glitter from Dollar Tree, which is kind of a bit of an odd thing to use green on it, but my gold glitter was like really thick and chunky, and I just wanted it to feel kind of subtle. I noticed at home that our leaves that are turning right now, I mean, we have a combination of green and browns and oranges that are all turning. So really in nature, I think it would have possibly some green in it, was kind of my idea. But I'm also giving a little bit of sparkle to the acorn, which obviously the acorn probably wouldn't be green, but I wanted them to be matching. So the next thing I want to do is take these cute little bows. These are also from Dollar Tree, and these are the pre-made bows, so they just work so nicely. They're so easy to use. I like to trim the tails off and then add them to the top of the project because I felt like the tails would kind of take over too much here. And then there you guys have that. I thought they're so super adorable, and I just popped them into my little setting. I do like the reflection of the glitter, and then I just added in these pretty little pumpkins. Both of these ceramic pumpkins were from Dollar Tree, and I felt like they really matched the project really nicely. And then I just added in my cute little gumball. For this first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make some super adorable little fall centerpieces using these Dollar Tree crates. Okay, so you can actually just take, these are wooden crates from the Dollar Tree, and you can take some stain. I'm using the Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm just using this little towel. It's just like an old shop rag, and I'm just applying the stain onto the sides of the crates, and you can sand it down, add more stain, less stain, just kind of make it however you want it to look. I think fall is really the perfect time to make really cute little rustic goodies. Now you can make one of these, you can make 2, 3. I wanted to connect them and make them look more of like a centerpiece, like something you might see kind of at Kirkland's or whatnot. And we're going to do it more of in a neutral style. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to glue these end to end. And really you don't need to add stain to the inside part of them if you want to save on some of your stain. The next thing I want to do is take some of these styrofoam pieces, and I'm going to use hot glue, and I'm just going to hot glue the little styrofoam pieces into your little wooden crates, and then you're going to have a base now for you to add some really cute little goodies. So I gathered for this one some lamb's ear, and then Dollar Tree is carrying these little pine cone sticks that have the cattails and whatnot. So I used 2 of those. I used some of the lamb ear and then some of their little mini velvet white pumpkins. I wanted to do something that was kind of farmhouse, kind of more neutral. I've done a lot of like really pretty bold orange fall floral, so I thought this might be really pretty just for a space that needs a little bit less busyness, because I like to get a lot of busyness going on in my home decor, and I just thought this would be kind of nice and subtle. And so also now I'm going to take apart this Dollar Tree pick. It had several on it, so it was kind of nice, and really Dollar Tree is putting out some really nice florals lately. I mean, honestly, you'd pay at least $3 to $5 at, you know, a home decor store for a nicer pick like this. So I'm just separating them and then just kind of pushing them in, and you can kind of play with them. And really it's kind of funny because when I watch these videos back, I'm always crafting from behind the camera, so you guys see something different probably than when I'm seeing from the other side. So I did have to flip it around and kind of play with some of these, but I'm adding in this cute little velvet pumpkins. And again, you guys can use pretty much any fall foliage or whatever that you love. But then here's how it looks so far, and then you're just going to want to take some of this moss and pop some moss in. So Dollar Tree pretty much always carries this moss. They'll carry reindeer moss, the Excelsior grass, all different kinds of mosses. But I thought this was just perfect to go in with this little fall floral arrangement. So let me know what you guys think about it, and I hope you guys are inspired to make a pretty little centerpiece. So really it was probably less than $10. And when you look at centerpieces to me in home decor stores, I really think you guys can do these just as well on a total budget. Daughter and I are going to bake a delicious carrot cake.
So we have the Betty Crocker carrot cake, and then we have the cream cheese frosting, and then we have 2 sticks of butter, 3 eggs, and we have some cinnamon and some vanilla extract that we're going to use. So to begin baking your cake, just put in the whole box of cake mix, and then 1 cup of just water. And now we're going to start cracking 3 eggs.
So this is one of the favorite recipes of our family, and it's so easy. We love the Betty Crocker cake mix. Of course, this isn't super healthy, but we love to use butter. We used a stick of butter, and
then 2 more tablespoons, or 3 more tablespoons, yeah. And then we just melted these in the microwave.
So we added in our butter, and now we're going to zhuzh it up just a little bit. We decided to add a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon and then also a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. It didn't call for that, but I picked these up at the Dollar Tree to make a simmering pot, and I just thought that it would add some deliciousness to our cake. And now I'm going ahead and adding in our melted butter. We melted the butter in the microwave for about 35 seconds, and then we're just using our hand mixer. Although a lot of you guys said that we really need to get one of those really
mixing
cute
bowls.
Yeah, pink mixers to put on, pink or aqua. I think those are so adorable
Those
to
are
have
so
on your counter. Wouldn't that be super fun? I would
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. So now we're just mixing up our cake mix. It called to mix it for
about 2 minutes, but we did it for about 3, so it'll be really fluffy.
Yes.
And then now we're just gonna scrape it all into the pan.
And I did grease my pan, and usually I add some flour, but I was out of flour, so it did stick to the pan just a little bit, but hey, it tasted so delicious. I don't think anybody really noticed. So now that it's out of the oven, we're just going to go ahead and cut it and add some delicious
icing.
That is our favorite part. Oh my goodness, yummy. Comment and let me know if you guys love carrot cake. If you're going to try this, again, this is a family favorite.
Of cherry mix, and then one of the Dollar Tree traditional Pillsbury yellow cakes, and then a stick of butter. My daughter helped me with this one, and it was so fun. Okay, so you're just going to get about a 9x9 pan, and you're going to go ahead and dump your cherry filling into the bottom. Now, we definitely could have used another can of cherry mix to add into this. It turned out fine, but I think if you wanted to make it last a little bit further. Okay, and also comment and let me know, what is your take on this recipe? I've heard so many different takes. Okay, so now that we have our cherry mix filled to the bottom of our little dish, my daughter is going to add in the cake mix. So you're just going to use dry cake mix, and you're going to go ahead and just sprinkle that all over the top of your little cherry filling. Now, I know I was probably only supposed to use about 1/2 a bag of this, but my husband and my son were home, so I wanted to make it go a little bit further. So I did use about 3/4 of that bag of cake mix. And then once I got the cake mix on there, and my daughter, you can see she's spreading it around with a spoon. This was a really easy, fun one to make too, if you guys want to do this with your kiddos or grandkids. But anyway, so I'm just going to take and slice the butter up, and once I realized I had so much cake mix on there, I thought, ooh, I've got to go full on and go a little bit extra with my butter. You guys know me, I've got to go extra, and I love my butter. So we used a full stick of butter. It was maybe a little much. I think we maybe should have just used about 3/4 of a stick, unless you're using the whole mix of cake. But let me tell you that this cherry dump cake was eaten, the whole thing, that night. I'm not sure if that was correct grammar, but anyway, you're going to pop it into the oven at 350 degrees, and I baked mine for 35 minutes. As you guys can see, the center part was a little bit kind of bubbly. It could have maybe gone for another 5 minutes, but 350 degrees for 35 minutes, and voila, you have a cherry dump cake, or a fabulous cherry cobbler is what I call it. Very fabulous, and oh so delicious, and oh so not very healthy. This is a splurge. I am using my ultra healthy ice cream though. I get the Breyers low carb ice cream, and it was very, very, very delicious. How yum is this? I'm so ready for some fall baking. Also, just paired with the pumpkin making, this was like the perfect day of crafting, you guys. So comment and let me know. Again, I would love to hear your take on the cherry dump cake. My son had the idea to do apples and then add like some cinnamon to it, and I think that would be absolutely delicious. And what are your measurements? Do you use a whole can or 2 cans or the whole box of cake mix? And how much butter? Tell me, you guys, I have to know.
This was the first time ever I have tried this super easy cake. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're gonna repurpose one of those Dollar Tree summer signs. It said, "Oh Sweet Summer." I chalk painted the other sign just with some chalk paint that I got at Walmart, and then I'm gonna add this happy fall, y'all. I made sure that I found a printable that had a black background since I did chalk paint the little sign with a black background, and I'll put a link to where you can find this printable, but it turned out really perfect. I was out of Mod Podge, so I just used some Elmer's glue to glue this on, but Mod Podge would definitely work as well. Now I'm taking some Dollar Tree ribbon. I want to add that to the top of the jar, and then you guys, once you get this little jar decorated, the sky is the limit. Now I'm going to share with you guys for the next Dollar Tree DIY, we are going to put it on our burlap wreath, and I'm going to share with you guys this wreath tutorial right now.
I'm taking some burlap, and actually I got this burlap from burlapfabric.com. I do have a $5 off coupon, but I'm taking this little pipe cleaner and then one of those Dollar Tree 12-inch wreath bases, and I'm just going to wire the pipe cleaner on. Now this is the ruffle method. If you guys need more help, this is the ruffle method for a burlap wreath. So you're just going to wire your burlap on, and this is really easy. Trust me, if I can do it, you guys can do it. So you're just going to pull your first loop of burlap through, and then you're going to pull your second loop of burlap through, and then your third loop of burlap through. So you can see on the wire wreath form, there's 3 layers there, so you just pull it through each layer, and then you're going to take and you're going to kind of squish it down. So you just kind of push it down with your fingers, and then you're going to take it in the back, and you're just going to twist that 3 times. So while you're holding your little loop at the top, you're going to twist in the back, and then you're going to bring it back up through the bottom, and you're going to start your next row of little puffs here. So you're going to pull it through again, and then you're going to pull it through again on the next rung. And my burlap was kind of a thick size. I'll link the dimensions down below for you guys, but you're going to go ahead and pull it through, but just make sure it doesn't get twisted. My fingers were having a bit of a time with it, so you have to kind of unroll it as you go. That was probably the most trickiest part for me, was that it kept getting twisted. So anyway, you're going to go ahead and squish it down again, and then hold on to it there at the top, and you're going to twist it 3 times in the back, and that'll keep it from unfurling on you or undoing. And then you're going to push it through again the bottom, and you just work your way up each time until you get to the top, and you just continue to repeat this process over and over again until you get all the way around the wreath. Now a little tip is the first one of these I did, the loops were a little bit large, and I did these loops a little bit smaller this time, and I feel like I got better results and I didn't use as much burlap. So just continue to work that burlap magic and pull those little loops through 3 times, twist in the back, and then go back down and start the process back over again. Once I got to the end of my wreath, I just used a piece of pipe cleaner, and I just pipe cleanered that little end piece on. And also I wanted to let you all know that Walmart and the craft stores also sell these large, big, long spools of burlap that you guys can make these wreaths with. I think Walmart's is about $4 or $5, and I'm not sure about the craft stores, but I will leave that coupon code for the burlapfabric.com down below if you guys want to check any of their burlap stuff out.
So once you have your burlap wreath all ready to roll, or you could add this into a floral wreath as well, I'm attaching the little Happy Fall Y'all jar sign onto the burlap wreath just with some black pipe cleaners, and then I want to go ahead and snip the ends off of that. Now we're going to create an Olivia bow. So you're just going to take some of that Dollar Tree wired ribbon, and you're just going to loop it over on itself. This is super easy. You guys can see I'm just looping that ribbon over on itself. I want to do that about 3 times on each side, and then I'm going to to find the center of my bow. I'm going to cut 2 tiny little notches, make sure they're tiny notches, and then I'm going to take that pipe cleaner and I'm going to wrap the pipe cleaner around my bow, kind of pinch it in the center. But the little notches are going to help you guys really fluff your bow out really well. So give your bow a really good fluffing, and so you can pull the little loops out and kind of twist them out. That's going to give you that really boutique, gorgeous bow. And this was so easy. You just loop the ribbon over on itself, cut it in the center, and tie on the little pipe cleaner so you have something to tie it onto your wreath with. Now I'm going to add another Olivia bow stacked on top of this one. This is using that buffalo check plaid ribbon that I found at Hobby Lobby. This step, of course, is, you know, extra. You guys just know I love to go super extra with my bows. I also had added in a little bit of the Dollar Tree orange ribbon and the Dollar Tree polka dot ribbon. So check out this bow, y'all. I mean, I am in love with big bows. I love big bows, and I cannot lie. It's true. I just do. So I'm going to use up the rest of this ribbon. This was that chevron wired ribbon from Dollar Tree. Again, I stacked another bow on top of it because we can't be outdone from the top bow to the bottom bow. I do usually do, though, my bottom bows a little bit smaller, but I like to kind of offset them in this fashion. So you're just going to wire that onto the base of your wreath. I also added in some of that orange ribbon from Dollar Tree just to kind of give it that offsetted kind of cohesive look. So now that I have the bows added, I decided to just go ahead and take some of the Dollar Tree sunflowers off of their stems and just add a tiny bit of hot glue onto the bows. I kind of arranged them where I wanted them, and now I'm just gluing them on. I'm gluing them onto the ribbon and also kind of to the burlap base. I just really thought that looked super adorable. I thought it looked really cute actually too without the florals, but I love adding florals and going super over the top. And since it's happy fall, y'all, I thought that would just really tie in the ribbons and the little mason jar, and it really pops against that burlap. So I used some of the yellow Dollar Tree sunflowers and then some daisies, and so I just thought it came out really, really adorable. Again, the sky is the limit on this one. You guys could have so much fun. Decorate this to suit your home style colors. I also created some really tiny, cute little mini pumpkins. So I popped a mini pumpkin in underneath the big bow and then one underneath that small bow. And then I just felt like it needed a little something on this sign to kind of pull it all together. So I just whipped out my paintbrush and a little bit of white paint, and I'm going in and just kind of adding some dimension to the sign. Now this part I should have done before I added this sign to the wreath. Totally. So I was careful, you know, trying not to get paint anywhere else, but I thought it looked super adorable, and it just gave it that little extra pop that it needed, you know, just to kind of make it look a little bit more rustic and have some dimension. Here is the finished product, and you guys, I was just so over the moon with this. I thought this turned out so fun, so adorable, and perfect. It's a Dollar Tree DIY. I want to create an outdoor buffalo check plaid pillow. I had this idea from one of you guys. You commented and let me know that you were doing this, and so I thought, hey, let's go for it. So what I want to do is take one of those buffalo check plaid tote bags from Dollar Tree, and I just want to cut it out. I want to cut out the entire thing front and back to where it's just 2 panels for each side of the pillow. So I'm just going to line them up inside out, because what I want to do is I want to hot glue them together and then be able to turn the pillow inside out. Now this is a plastic fabric, but this is an outdoor pillow, you guys. And thank you for giving me this idea. You guys are the best. And so I'm just using a low temp hot glue gun, and I'm hot gluing all around 3 edges of this tote bag. Again, this is plastic, but it's for outdoor, and these are super cute and fun just to throw out there. And hey, it cost $1 with the stuffing. You guys could use it on a pillow. Just be careful. Always use a low temp glue gun for any hot gluing to plastic. You don't want to have any massive meltdowns. But the plastic was fine. It didn't melt onto anything. So I also made sure I was hot gluing on the seams of the bag. So now I'm just going to go ahead and flip it inside out. This was the only part that I thought might be tricky, that might not work. But I was just really gentle with it as I insided it it out, and then I was really careful to just go ahead and push out all the corners to where it still maintained kind of that pillow shape. But I think it's coming out pretty cute for a little outdoor pillow for fall. Just grab some old stuffing from an old pillow that you might have on hand, especially if you're a pillow hoarder like me. Trust me, y'all, I have so many extra pillows that anyway, I'm repurposing them. That's the best thing ever, repurpose and reuse. So I stuffed this pillow rather full because I want it to be nice and puffy and just ready to roll. And once I had enough stuffing in there, I just went ahead and pinched the ends together, and I began to hot glue across the edge just to go ahead and get that pillow together. Now this is kind of the more tricky part when you're doing that last edge because it's easy to burn yourself, but just be careful. You can also get one of those little hot glue thimbles you guys have been telling me about at the craft store. I really need to pick one of those up, but it will protect the ends of your fingers. But I think this is coming out really, really cute and oh so adorable. It's kind of a really funny idea, I know, you guys, to hot glue a tote bag together that's plastic. But for an outdoor pillow, I'm telling you, this is an amazing idea. So thank you guys for all the ideas that you're sharing with me. And so here it is in just a little indoor vignette. Now it was blazing hot outside, so I just decided to show it to you guys how it looked inside by my little haul tree. And honestly, I think it's super fun. It's not a bad idea to put like on a haul tree or an entryway, because sometimes I know my kiddos will come home with like wet clothes, you know, or umbrellas, and so a plastic pillow. Now for this next DIY, I actually want to share with you guys how I'm using these little scrap pieces of wood. They're left over from my back patio project from last summer, but I am just going to take and hot glue all three of them together. They were originally like little slats for the railing to keep Benji Bear inside. Benji Bear is my puppy dog, so I just made 4 of them. I was thinking I was going to spell out fall, but I ran out of time to find the lettering for it, so I may go back and add lettering to the front of these, so that's another idea. I'm painting them different colors because I thought that would just be a fun thing to let my eye dance over. So I chose yellow and orange, some greens, and then a quick little aqua. The yellow is a little bit bright for fall, I kind of feel like, but you know, since I ran out of orange, I kind of have to make do. I do love this pretty muted green though. I think it's so soft and a nice cozy vibe. And you guys could also paint these cream. That would be another idea if you're doing shabby chic decor. And if you love pink pumpkins or purple pumpkins, go for it, you guys. Now I'm going to make this stem, and I'm going to use the little Dollar Tree wooden cube blocks. I'm going to hot glue 4 of them together and then stain them with the Antique Waverly Wax stain. And I will tell you to leave a spot at the bottom without the wax, because once you apply the wax, it makes it really hard for the hot glue to stick. That's what's been going on with mine anyway. So just leave that bottom side unstained that you're going to be hot gluing to the top of your pumpkin. I'm also taking this Dollar Tree sponge brush, and I'm just going to sponge some of that wax onto the front of them. I think these turned out so adorable. I've always wanted to do some wooden pumpkins, and I've never really taken the time to, so this is the perfect opportunity. Now I'm going to take and make this cute little bow. So I just took a piece of burlap ribbon and I'm tying the center of it. So you just make like a cute little bow tie. You take the ribbon, you just scrunch it together, and then add some jute twine to the center, hot glue that to the little top part of your pumpkin, and bam, you have such a festive little creation. I also had this cute little orange and burlap colored ribbon from Dollar Tree. I wish I would have stocked up on more because I'm already out of it. I've been doing a lot of fun projects with this, but it's so cute and I love the checkered aspect of it. Maybe I'll check back at Dollar Tree. I seriously doubt that they have any more, but maybe I might be able to also find some at Hobby Lobby. I don't know, but I'm adding that to the center part of my little pumpkins, and I really had to tie really tiny bows, and these are just bows like you would tie a shoelace with. But here is how they turned out. I think they look so cute in this 3-tiered tray. So easy to do on a total budget. Just pop out and grab some scrap wood, or sometimes you can even go into your local hardware store and ask them about some scrap wood. And then if you are doing the Jenga block pumpkin project that I did earlier in this video, you guys could also just hot glue several little Jenga blocks together and make some mini pumpkins that are just like this. So I always try to think of ideas to make things versatile and totally budget friendly for you guys. I hope you're loving this one and are inspired to create some cute little rustic wooden pumpkins. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to make a super adorable Dollar Tree stuffed witch hat. I'm just going to take this pillow stuffing and I'm going to stuff it into the Dollar Tree witch hat. Then I'm going to take one of these Dollar Tree placemats. I want to cut the center of the placemat out. You could really use pretty much anything, cardboard or even a paper plate. I'm then going to hot glue the placemat to the base of the witch hat. Then I want to really doll up this witch hat, and basically I'm just taking some ribbon, hot gluing the ribbon to the base of the witch hat, and then kind of ruching it and hot gluing it as I go. What I want to do is use up a bunch of ribbon that I've either already used or that is just kind of short ends of ribbon. I'm also taking some of this beautiful Mackenzie Childs ribbon. Oh my goodness, so worth the little bit extra that I paid. I actually found it during the barn sale, but you can actually get check ribbon on Amazon fairly inexpensive. I'm also taking this beautiful dazzling jewel. I get all of my jewels from totallydazzle.com. They sell them in 10 packs and they're about $1.50 each, and they're so beautiful. And if you guys have bought jewels, you know they're fairly expensive to find. I'm also taking this super cute little Dollar Tree pumpkin, and then I'm adding in some scrap lace. You guys, I really want to glam this hat up and make it look like almost a centerpiece. And actually, I think that's what I'm making here, is a fabulous over the moon centerpiece, something that you could really set anywhere and just make it feel absolutely wonderful, festive, and over the moon fabulous. I decided to really go over the top on my witch hat and add more pumpkins on the other side, as well as jewels and some sparkling Dollar Tree ribbon. Go for it. This is a great way to use up those holiday scraps you may have laying around thinking, gosh, why did I buy so many supplies? Well, you did it. You guys have a way to use those supplies. Trust me. Now I'm using it under my fabulous Halloween fall tree that I created in my studio. I added some little leaves underneath my fall Halloween tree, and then I'm using these cute little Dollar Tree witch legs. I'm just going to kind of set them up. I may actually pop them into a basket to kind of keep them a little bit more stable, but here's just a fun little DIY idea. Pop those witch legs in, and then you can set your hat on top of them, kind of like Glinda the Good Witch has landed to save the day. Kidding, all kidding aside, but how fun is this? Oh my goodness, I just thought this would bring some joy to my little studio as I begin crafting for the holidays, and it's just a great way to repurpose and reuse what I already have. Very copper driven. Okay, so for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this Dollar Tree adhesive bling wrap and I'm going to cut it to fit the size of my flickering flameless candle. Now, Dollar Tree does carry a flameless candle that's battery operated. I have not seen them in my stores forever, so I just started ordering them on Amazon. They have a 3-piece set that's actually really nice. I believe it's $18 for the 3-piece set, so of course it is quite a bit more than Dollar Tree, but it's quite a bit higher quality. It does take batteries, and so I'm just going to take the adhesive bling wrap. I cut it to suit the size of my candle, and I did have to cut it in 2 pieces because it was in a sheet, but it just goes right on your candle, so you don't have to glue it or anything. It just adheses right to your candle, and this is how it will look if you just use the bling wrap. Now, of course, you guys know I went a little bit extra, and I decided I wanted the bling wrap to be offset with a rustic element to kind of give it just some dimension with the elements of this DIY. And so I'm taking the jute twine, I'm going to wrap that around and then trim it off and then just hot glue it. And because the adhesive wrap has a little bit of sticky, it'll kind of stick a little bit to that as well. So I use the jute twine at the top and the bottom of this project. And then if you want to, you all could always add a bow to the front of this. You could call it good, but I did go a little bit extra and I used one of my Totally Dazzled jewels because they're so pretty, and they actually have this rose gold that to me looks very copper, and because I'm doing this copper theme, I just thought thought it would be so fabulous. So I just added one of those as well. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this super adorable little owl. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. And if you love him as is, I think he is so cute as is. But I did want to just kind of soften him up and have him be a little bit more of like a shabby chic farmhouse owl. So I'm using some of that Waverly White chalk paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and chalk paint him. I did end up doing, I believe, 3 coats of chalk paint just to completely cover him all the way, and I like to let it dry about an hour in between. And then once I have the 3 coats on, I did use the Waverly Antique Wax again, and then I'm just using my little Dollar Tree sponge brush. I like to dab it off because the chalk paint absorbs the wax really quickly, and this is an antique color, so it's pretty dark. And so I just gently added a little bit of wax here and around. I wanted to give him a little bit of a vintage feel. And then once you have a little bit of wax, you can just take, I just used a paper towel. I think you're really though supposed to use like a soft cloth, but a paper towel is easy for me, and I can just toss it when I'm in my studio, so sometimes that's a little bit easier for me. I'm using a gold paint pen and giving him a little bit of accent, and then there he is, and he's just so cute, and it just gives him a little bit of a different look, you know, kind of that more farmhouse shabby chic style you guys know that I love. But again, he was really cute in the original form as well. So as always, I ask for you guys to comment and let me know, what was your favorite DIY in this video? I love to hear what you guys love, because it just lets me know kind of what to make more of. And also, don't forget to comment and subscribe so you can be entered into my Hobby Lobby giveaway. That giveaway is going to be announced next week, so I'm super excited to spoil you guys with the Hobby Lobby gift certificate.
So thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafty decor adventure. It is a true blessing and honor to have you all here. If you all are new, welcome. I'm Olivia with Olivias Romantic Home, and I love to share with you guys how you can make your home's boutique gorgeous on a budget. I truly believe that y'all don't have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. And for everybody that comes back and loves on me and that has been following me and joining me on this little crafting and decorating journey, thank you guys so much. It's me and my glue gun and this camera and you guys. So it is a true blessing and honor to have everybody here that loves to craft and decorate, or that just loves watching crafting and decorating. I know sometimes I just like to watch and get inspired by others as well. Listen, I truly believe that crafting and decorating is so good for your heart and soul. So try not to be hard on yourself. If you have a crafting or decorating project, you know, just keep going with it. You're going to get better with skill and time. And, you know, sometimes it's just fun to create something, or have your kiddos and grandkids help you create something, or have like a wreath making party, or get together with a girlfriend or your mom or your sister, or just whatever floats your boat. I know there's some guys out there that love to craft and decorate too. So thank you guys for being here. Pop over to my Olivias Romantic Home Facebook page. I do share daily DIY videos over there to keep you guys crafting and inspired. Also on Instagram and TikTok if you guys want to check that out. Join me on this YouTube channel. It's totally free to subscribe. Punch the bell and click all, and that will update you every single time I post a new video. I post several DIY videos a week on YouTube. In fact, this Monday morning, I sat down to do my morning posts, and I dropped my laptop and it broke the screen. So you guys might see a little bit of some compilation videos this week as I work through that technical issue. But hey, wherever you're at in your life's journey, just remember, God's got this, God's got you. Keep on putting one foot in front of the other, and you guys can make it through. And I promise there's going to be a rainbow at the end of that rainy day. So I love y'all to the moon and back. I'm hugging all of your hearts so tight. Thank you again. It is a blessing and honor to have you all here. I can't wait for our next video, more crafting and decorating, and guess what? Christmas DIYs are coming very soon. That's right, I said it. I want to pop into Hobby Lobby and get some inspiration, so I may take you guys along with me there. Check my Instagram stories, and maybe I'll even post a new video in some of the Hobby Lobby goodies. So I'm also trying to play my theme. Drop a comment down below and let me know. I've done kind of gingerbread and the candy cane theme for a while this year, so I'm thinking I might change it up this year. I don't know, I'm gonna surprise you guys. I love y'all. Till our next video, remember, be kind to yourselves and be kind to one another. Talk to you guys very soon. Bye-bye.